Okay. State the domain. Do you guys remember what the domain meant? X values. What is the smallest x value on number 1? How far left does it go? -3. So what we're going to put, come on. What we're going to put is d equals, well, I guess you don't have to put the braces. -3. Okay, that's the farthest left, it goes to -3. That's the x value. What's the next step to the right? What's that point at? -1. What's the point? The other 2 points are at 2. That's the domain. The range is the y values. What is the lowest y value in that?
-4.
It goes down 4. Y values are up and down, right? The lowest point is down 4. What's the next lowest point?
-2.
Down at -2.
Yes. You did have that.
What's the point above the line?
1.
And what's the highest point at? Highest point's at 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a long time since we did this. Do you guys remember how we can tell whether it's a function or not by looking at the graph?
Their nose repeating.
The vertical line test. If it hits any vertical line hits at 2 points, it fails. So does number 1, does it pass or fail the vertical line test? Fail. So we're supposed to put no, it's not a function. Just put no. Do you guys remember what 2 meant? It's like the points 3, 2, and pi 7. 3 and pi would be the domain. 2 and 7 are the range.
Is this the thing where you put like a line and you do a crop?
That's what they did on 2. That's not what we're doing. Okay. Number 3. So they didn't draw the graph for us. They just wrote them out as points. So this 3 is probably the easiest. What's the domain on 3?
2, 1, 3.
Huh?
2, 3, 1.
Number 3.
2, 3.
2, 3, 1. Oh, you said 1, 2, 3, didn't you? Yeah, the order doesn't matter. Whatever. What's the range on number 3?
5, 5. -1, 5.
-1 and 5. Okay. All right. Pay attention. Is this a function or not?
Yes. No.
Okay. If the x values repeat themselves, it is not a function. They do not repeat. So yes, it is a function. If you said yes, you were correct.
What do we do before?
For number 4, do you guys remember what the graph on number 4 looked like?
No.
Yeah.
So it goes like
No?
B.
Just
The V.
It goes like 1, 1.
So it would be a yes.
Okay, well, you're supposed to say domain and range also. You guys know what number 5 was? You guys remember what those brackets meant on number 5? It's called the greatest integer function. Remember what the graph looked like? Stair steps. You don't need to know this right now, but if you do a 2 on an x, the steps get tinier or wider. I think it'd be they would be short. It doesn't really matter for what we need, but the steps would be shorter, I believe, if I remember right. But yeah, it looks something like this. Well, I kind of did that wrong. So there we go. Nice. Anyway, I don't need to draw it all. I'm just reminding you. So what we need is the domain. So domain is left and right. How far left does it go? Forever. So what did we put for that?
All of them.
Or how far right does it go also? It goes forever left and right. So anything x works. So yeah, the domain is all real numbers.
Sure.
Okay.
Why is it making that noise? It's never made that noise before.
Because it's closed and it's like whistling.
It's having a stroke. Wait, why didn't we do four?
Huh?
Pretty sure that's impossible.
Four is even. I just drew it.
I'm still feeling it. So then you just put
Okay.
Not you.
Now the range, this one's tricky. We've never done one of these before. Shh, listen, Carson. The range is the y values. Are all y values included in the range? No. All the y values between here and here are included. Here and here, here and here, here and here. So we're missing a lot of y values. What y values are included? No.
Every other what?
No.
When they're whole, so not like.
This is like 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. What y? Not whole numbers. Integers. Okay. Basically, all the y values are all the integers. That's why it's called the greatest integer function, because you round it down to the next lowest integer. So, I don't know if we talked about integer. So, all real numbers is a fancy R. Integers is like a fancy Z. I usually just put a. That's not how the book really writes it, but that's how I write it. Did I mention that once when we were talking about
No.
number sets, the letters that stood for the number sets?
You did.
Yeah, I probably mentioned it once or twice. We have not ever done a range like that before. We have done domain and range for this picture before, though. This is number 4. Why don't you guys try it on your own first? Okay, number 7. Okay, 7's just plug stuff in, so here we go. Evaluate each function for the given values. That just means figure out what it is if x equals blah, blah, blah. So it's -3/2 x plus 3. So it just tells us the x values, but sometimes instead of saying like x equals -4, 0, 3, they might say, what is g of -4?
You just put 4 together.
That just means, yeah, plug in -4. You can do this on the calculator. -3/2 times -4, whoops, is 6, plus 3 is 9. What if we plug in 0? What's 3/2 times 0 plus 3? 3.
Where did I get? Oh, wrong one.
What if we plug in 3? That one's kind of a mess.
-3/2.
Yeah, it's like -1.5. -3/2. Did I plug in the right numbers, or did I copy that wrong? Okay. All right. What do you guys think we should do on number 8? How can we do number 8?
Round x's to the lowest it can be.
You round the x value down to the next lower integer. So let's look at the first one, for example. So the first one says x equals -1.2.
-2.
That rounds down to -2. Is that it?
Multiply that by 2.
Right. Whatever you get from that, you multiply it by 2, because there's a 2 in front of that.
So
Those brackets mean the greatest integer function, which means round it down to the next lowest. So it's, the first one is -2 times 2, so it's -4.
0.11.
0.9 rounds down to what? 0.
Oh,
1 is above 0.9.
oh.
You're not rounding it to the nearest integer, you're rounding it to the next lowest integer. Alright. Number 9. Find the slope. Oh, this is easy. Oh, just slope's easy, never mind. I feel like this is what we spent the most time doing this chapter. What is the slope on number 9? Should be able to just look and
2.
7.
Oh, that's the y value.
21.
Wait, that's
21 is the y-intercept.
my bad.
Okay, the other thing they ask on number 9 is find the intercepts. Did I write that right? Well, I can just look at this and tell what the y-intercept is, right? What's the y-intercept? 21. Right? The b value always tells us the y-intercept. How did we find the x-intercept? Way back when. The x-intercepts always have a y value of 0. So to find the x value, the x-intercept, you put in 0 for the y. In this case, f of x is standing in for the y. So you put 0 in for y, 0 in for that, and solve for x.
-3.
That was the last question. So, yeah, to find on number and we're supposed to graph it. Yeah, you're right. Let's just do a sketch on this graph. There are some graphs later, so maybe I should go ahead and get it out. Yeah, let's go ahead and get it out. I should have done this at the beginning.
While you're back there, you should get your Chromebook so you can stream this up. Never mind.
There's scanning here. There's a graphic for everything.
Oh.
What graphic is it? Yeah. Almost. This is close. Maybe you give them one. Good catch. Okay. Well, did you guys notice that whoops. Did you guys notice that the y-intercept was 21? So how are we going to graph a y-intercept of 21?
You could make it times 3.
Let's count by threes. Excellent idea. So if you are counting by threes, you need to label at least the first step as a 3. So I know that you're counting by threes. You don't have to label all of them, but at least one. So if I'm counting by threes, how high do I need to go? 7.
So we have to graph number 9.
Yeah,
What?
graph for number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7.
Now let's look at these equations graph. It says graph 11 and 13.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't say graph. It just says of each equation graph. My bad.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Okay, just hold on to that then. Okay, on number 10, How could I find the slope?
Negative y.
Subtract 4x, divide by -3. You got to get y by itself. We've done that quite a few times also. Okay, back to the graphs. Number 11. Let me get the graph paper out. Okay, on 11 we're supposed to graph x minus 5y equals 15. All that other stuff is not important, just ignore it. Come on. Whoops. Okay, how do I graph that?
Oh, make it y out by itself.
Okay, solve for y. So subtract the x. Notice I'm putting minus x in front of the 15. Then what? Gotta get y by itself, so divide by -5.
Y equals 1/5 plus negative
15 divided by -5 is -3. But I wouldn't put plus negative, I would just put -3. Alright, where does that start at? Where should we start at on the graph?
negative.
Down 3. At the y-intercept is -3. Where should I go from there?
Up, wait, up one.
Up 1/5.
Right, rise over run. The slope is 1/5. Rise 1, run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, remember how I made you guys use 3 points on this? So where could I put another point at? Backwards. So down 1, back 5. If you do it right, it should be on the same line, straight line. Just need to grease that hinge. What'd you say? Do I need to shade on this one?
No.
Oh,
Why you say?
because there's no inequalities.
But how sounds wrong?
13 looks weird. Okay, there's a couple things we could do on 13. What do you guys think we should do? Okay, since y, we want to get y by itself. Since y is a minus on the right, I would add it to the left.
Make it positive.
So it would be positive over here.
Or
So we
you
get
subtract
y plus 2/3 x equals 4. How do I get y by itself? Subtract 2/3 x. So I get y equals -2/3 x. And I'm getting better with my lines. I think I just jinxed myself. Alright, where's this graph start at? Up 4. Because plus 4 is the y-intercept. Where am I going to go from there if the slope is negative?
Down to right 3.
Right, if slope is negative 2/3, just think of the negative as being on the top. So you're going to rise -2 and run +3. Rise -2, run +3. Or you could go backwards. rise 2 and run negative 3. Whoa.
Crying for help, Mr. Jordan.
Try again. Close enough.
That number is there. Section.
All right, 15 is not graphing. We're not graphing again for a while. So this graph problem is 25. Okay, so back to the line paper. All right, 15. So we're supposed to write an equation of that line in slope-intercept form. So what should I probably find? What is slope-intercept form? Maybe I should start with that. Y equals mx plus b. What should I probably find first? Okay. Let's start with the slope since that comes first. So how do I find the slope? Find 2 points on the line, count the rise and the run. So it looks like there's a point at 0, 2, like up to, that the line crosses through. And there's also a point at negative 2, negative 1. Set it backwards.
I did? Oh, that's what I had.
Yeah, there's a point left 2, down 1. So from negative 2, negative 1, you guys see where I'm looking? Trevor, Mason, are you looking?
Yeah.
Negative 2, negative 1 to 0, 2. What is the rise and what is the run? 3 over 2. Mason, you're about to get called on. Y equals 3 over 2x. Okay, what is the y-intercept? Plus 2. We probably should talk about 16 actually. Crosses the y-axis at positive 2. Okay, 16.
So for every two boxes, it moves with the x-axis, it goes up h with the y.
Yeah, it's close. Kind of a mess. So, can you guys identify a point? There's only 2 points that work on this one.
702.
Can you guys identify a point that the line goes through?
2, 3, 2.
2, 3, and 4, negative 4. Yes, that was correct. 2, 3, and 4, negative 4. It goes through the line. I don't want to really draw all that, but we don't really need a drawing. How much is the rise? So these are the y values. How much is it rising from negative 4 to 3? 7. So that's the rise. How much is it running from 4 to, well, more like negative 2. So you could count it in your book. You don't need to do this. You can just count. But basically it went up 7 and left 2, or down 7 and right 2. So the slope is negative 7 over 2. Okay, but where's the y-intercept? It's not pictured. But, gosh, there's a few ways we can do this. I don't know what the best way is. So there's a point at 2, 3, right? It's 3 tall. If you go up 7 and left 2 from there,
Is it plus 8?
this would become 0. And if you go left 2, that becomes 0. If you go up 7, what's this become? 10. So from 2, 3, if you use the slope, and you go up 7 and left 2 would put it on the y-axis, it'd be at 0. And then up 7 would put it at 10. You guys know what I'm saying? Maybe I need the picture, but it's 2 away from the y-axis. So if you go up 7, left 2, you'll be on the y-axis. 7 up.
So it's +7?
No. Okay, here's another way. Let's forget that. I don't want to draw the whole freaking picture. Okay, another way we can do it is, how can I solve this for b?
You plug this stuff in.
Yeah, you guys remember doing this?
Don't they both work? Both points?
Okay, yeah, if I plug in those numbers, 3 and 2, let's see. 3 and 2, what is the b value? Plus 7? No, plus 7, right? 10. That's what I was trying to explain right there. Anyway, the b value is 10.
Oh.
Probably should come out first. Number 17. Okay, write the equation of each described line in slope-intercept form. Yes.
Did you do -1 and 2x plus b and then just put the
Oh.
2 and 4 in for the...
Yeah. So, you guys remember doing these? It's been a couple days on this assignment. You just plug in the slope into y equals mx plus b. It's supposed to be negative. And then you plug in the x and the y that they gave us, 2 and 4. 4 is the y value, 2 is the x value, and you solve that for b. What is -1/2 times 2? -1. How do I solve that for b? Plus 1. So the b value is 5. What do I do with that?
Put in the equation.
Right, put it back in the equation. Y is equal to -1/2 x plus 5. We did a lot of those. I was thinking of making the quiz that I want to do like half this and half graphing, like with some lines and some shading, both.
What would we do? 18. Because it has 2 points.
On 18, they just give you 2 points, so how could you find the slope?
On both ends.
No,
Oh, the slope.
slope formula. Slope formula. You guys remember the slope formula?
It's like x minus x. So
Y minus y over x minus x.
wrong.
That's the slope formula. That's your first step. We're going to have to do that on 21, so I'll show, when we get to 21, you'll see an example. I'll be doing that. 19, the line passes through 6, -2. Jasmine, are you following? And it's perpendicular to y equals 3x plus 7. What do we know about perpendicular lines? Yeah, what else do we know though, algebra-wise? What do we know about the slopes of perpendicular lines?
Reciprocal.
Opposite reciprocals. What's the slope of this line? 3, or 3/1, yes. So what's the slope of the line we're gonna make that's perpendicular to this? -1/3. So we're gonna use that slope, -1/3, and this point that they gave us, and do exactly what we did on 17. Y equals mx plus b. The y value is -2. The m is -1/3. The x is 6. Solve for b. Missing one phone, but that's probably Carson. Yeah, I guess so.
Should be 0.
Let's see. Yeah, -1/3 is -2, yes. So if you add 2, you do get 0. So when we go to write the equation, it's y equals m, -1/3, x plus b. Do I need to write plus 0?
No.
So you can stop right there. Okay, 21. Write the equation in standard form. Uh-oh. All right, so we want a line passing through 1, -6, and 4, 0. Okay, they did not tell us the slope on this one. So how do I get the slope between 2 points? It's called the slope formula. Y minus y over x minus x. What is y minus y on this one? -6 minus 0 over 1 minus 4. That'd be -6 over -3, which is 2. -6 over -3. So now I have the slope. What am I going to do now? Y equals mx plus b. Slope in, put one of these points in. Which point do I use?
You can use whatever one.
Either one you want. I'm going to use 4 and 0 because 0 is usually easy.
So -8.
Yeah. You subtract 8, you get b is -8. So y equals 2x minus 8. Oh, whoops, I forgot something. You guys know what I forgot? The direction said standard form. You guys remember what that meant?
Oh,
AX plus B y equals.
Right, so our x's are on the wrong side, so how do I get them on the right side? The other side. Minus 2x. That is standard form.
Why do they want standard one?
It looks prettier.
It doesn't. Oh, sort of.
What motivated you to want to be a math teacher?
I don't know. You're not gonna hear my life story right now.
Wait, no.
All right. No, we're gonna go to 23 today. All right. 23. The line passes through -1, 4, and is perpendicular to 3x minus 2y equals 5. All right. Do you guys recall that What do we know about perpendicular slopes? They're opposite reciprocals. So that means they're positive to negative, and also they flip upside down. You switch the positive and negative. How do we get the slope out of this line?
Subtract 3x.
You could solve for y. I'm gonna, since we've done that a lot of times, I'm gonna tell you a fast forward trick to find the slope in standard form, and it's just negative a over b is the slope in standard form. You don't have to have this memorized, but it's a lot quicker if you just need the slope. What do you guys think I mean by a and b?
3 and 2.
Yeah, 3 and negative 2. That's your a, that's your b. So negative a over b would be negative 3 over negative 2. And what happens with negative negative? Yeah, it's 3 over positive, 3 over 2. So anyway, that's the slope of this line, 3 over 2. So we want a perpendicular line. So what's perpendicular slope?
Swap it. 2 over, negative 2.
Negative 2 over 3. So now we have our slope. We have a point. We're going to repeat the process we've done the last 3 problems and plug it in. Y equals mx plus b. You guys know what 4 minus 2/3 is without a calculator?
3 and
3 1/3, good. Get the bonus prize
1. Do I get bonus points?
in my heart.
Silly. That doesn't matter.
You just lost your bonus points.
I'm just kidding. Hashtag joke. It's standard.
You just lost more points. We're at negative.
Right, negative.
It's negative now. Why does that door keep creaking?
It's my powers.
Okay, so the slope was negative 2/3, so negative 2/3 x, and 3 1/3 was y. So. Oh, Rich. Okay. I just remembered, we're supposed to change it to standard form. Which means we also need to get rid of the fractions. Do you guys remember how we got rid of the fractions? Multiply by the common denominator 3.
It was little space. What is just a little.
You do remember. Somebody remembered. Will and Gracie. Alright. But you really don't have to multiply. They just cancel out on these. That's why we do it, to get rid of the fraction.
So plus 2.
Yeah, x's are on the wrong side. So I'm going to add the 2x over.
Is that the ending for today?
Yeah. Well, everybody,
Just 21.
everybody try 1 even for today. One even starting now. What? Number 2? Okay,
Can you scroll up to 21?
it's, the left is the domain because it's 3, 2, and pi 7. So yeah, the left is the left circle is the domain.
High? Or does that not matter?
That doesn't matter, just as long as the x's don't repeat. But
Can you scroll to number 11?
Yesterday's.
Can you scroll up to 21?
that wasn't one year.
I know. She is such a weird.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gracie.
means you turned it in right after you cleaned it out, probably.
How did you get -8 from 8?
But if you're just missing.
What time do we leave?
25.
Looking for this.
Stop, I knew you did I knew you did that.
Looking for this, eh? Why is it red? Please. Always ask nice.
Trevor, my mom says,
Yeah.